You've seen it countless times. The brilliant colleague overlooked for promotion while the loud, overconfident one gets the corner office. The thoughtful friend who struggles to find their voice while someone with half their insight commands every room. The genius innovator working in obscurity while mediocre minds collect accolades and power. It gnaws at you, doesn't it? This persistent injustice where intelligence seems inversely related to influence. Where depth of thought becomes a disadvantage, and superficiality wins the day. You might have even wondered if you're witnessing some cosmic joke, a universe deliberately designed to reward incompetence and punish wisdom. But here's what you need to understand, this isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature. And once you grasp why smart people rarely rule while idiots consistently rise to power, you'll stop being frustrated by it and start navigating it with strategic clarity. This isn't about accepting defeat. It's about understanding the hidden rules of a game you didn't realize you were playing. Because when you see the mechanisms that elevate mediocrity and suppress brilliance, you can finally choose your response, whether to beat them at their own game or create an entirely different one. The paralysis of infinite perspectives. Let's start with your greatest strength, which is also your most crippling weakness: you see too much. While others view situations in binary terms, good or bad, right or wrong, yes or no, you see the spectrum. You recognize the validity in opposing viewpoints. You understand the complexity of consequences rippling through time. You grasp the nuances that escape simpler minds. This should be an advantage. But in the realm of power and influence, it's your Achilles heel. Because while you're considering the 14th implication of a decision, weighing ethical considerations against practical outcomes, analyzing historical precedents, and contemplating unintended consequences, the person with a fraction of your intelligence has already acted. They've made the decision, claimed credit, and moved on to the next conquest. You're not slower because you're less capable. You're slower because you're burdened with awareness. Every choice you face comes loaded with the weight of understanding that others simply don't possess. They move through life with the confidence of people who don't know what they don't know. And in a world that rewards action over contemplation, that ignorance becomes rocket fuel. Think about it. The confident fool doesn't wrestle with doubt because they lack the cognitive capacity to imagine multiple scenarios. They don't experience decision paralysis because they can't conceive of complex consequences. Their certainty isn't earned through careful analysis, it's the byproduct of limited perspective. Meanwhile, you're stuck in what psychologists call analysis paralysis, not because you're indecisive by nature, but because you're intelligent enough to recognize that most decisions involve trade-offs with no perfect answer. You see the shades of gray that others miss entirely. And while you're navigating that nuanced landscape, simpler minds are sprinting forward with absolute certainty in their limited understanding. This is the first rule of why idiots rule: certainty beats complexity. Always. The crowd doesn't follow the person with the most nuanced take. They follow the person who sounds most sure. The performance versus competence gap. Here's an uncomfortable truth you need to face: in most human hierarchies, appearing competent matters more than being competent. You've spent your life building actual skills, accumulating real knowledge, developing genuine expertise. You've assumed, perhaps unconsciously, that competence would speak for itself. That quality would be recognized. That substance would triumph over style. You were wrong. Because while you were focused on being good at what you do, others were focused on appearing good at what they do. And appearance, my friend, is what people see. Competence hidden behind humility or quiet confidence might as well not exist in the eyes of those making decisions about power and promotion. The idiot in your workplace or social circle isn't winning despite their incompetence. They're winning because they've mastered the performance. They speak with unwavering confidence about things they barely understand. They take credit for collective successes and deflect blame for failures. They're skilled at managing up, at making sure the people with power see only their highlights, never their lowlights. Meanwhile, you're probably doing something fundamentally different. You're acknowledging uncertainty. You're crediting others for their contributions. You're focused on the actual work rather than the optics of the work. You're demonstrating intellectual humility, a trait that marks you as genuinely intelligent but reads to others as weakness or uncertainty. This is the uncomfortable paradox. The Dunning-Kruger effect isn't just a cognitive bias where incompetent people overestimate their abilities. It's a competitive advantage in systems where perception trumps reality. The less you know, the more confident you can be. The more confident you are, the more others believe in you. The more they believe in you, the more power you accumulate. And you, with your actual competence, you're penalized for knowing enough to recognize the limits of your knowledge. You're punished for the intellectual honesty that prevents you from making sweeping claims about things you haven't fully mastered. The playing field isn't level. It's tilted toward performance, not substance. And until you accept this, you'll keep losing to people who understand that appearing decisive matters more than being right. The energy economics of intelligence. Let's talk about something nobody mentions. Being smart is exhausting. Your brain doesn't turn off. While others scroll mindlessly through social media to relax, you're making connections, identifying patterns, questioning assumptions, analyzing information. Your mind is always working, always processing, always several steps ahead. This cognitive intensity comes at a cost. The same mental horsepower that allows you to solve complex problems and generate innovative ideas also drains your energy faster. You're running a high-performance engine that consumes more fuel. And in the marathon of career advancement and social maneuvering, you're often depleted before less intelligent people even break a sweat. Here's what happens. You spend your mental energy on the actual work, the substantive thinking, the creative problem solving, the deep analysis. By the time you're done, you're cognitively spent. You don't have reserves left for the political games, the social posturing, the strategic self-promotion. But the person with less intellectual horsepower, they're not exhausted. The work you find mentally demanding is, for them, less taxing simply because they're engaging with it more superficially. They have energy left over, energy they pour into networking, politicking, visibility management. They're not mentally drained from deep work because they weren't doing deep work to begin with. This creates a perverse outcome. The smarter you are, the less energy you have for the activities that actually advance your position in human hierarchies. While you're recovering from the cognitive demands of genuine intellectual work, others are attending happy hours, sending strategic emails, cultivating relationships with decision-makers, and generally engaging in the social labor that builds influence. You're not choosing to avoid these activities because you're antisocial or lazy. You're avoiding them because you're genuinely tired. The mental effort you expend on substantive work leaves you depleted for the superficial work that, paradoxically, matters more for accumulating power. The idiots rule because they have the energy to play the game. You're sitting on the sidelines, intellectually spent, watching them win not because they're better players but because they're still on the field. The tyranny of simplicity. There's a reason political slogans are simple. Why advertising works with basic messages. Why complexity loses and simplicity wins in the marketplace of ideas. The human brain is lazy. Most people, most of the time, prefer simple explanations to complex ones, regardless of which is more accurate. They want clear villains and heroes, not morally ambiguous characters. They want definitive solutions, not nuanced approaches that acknowledge trade-offs. You, with your intelligent, analytical mind, naturally gravitate toward complexity because that's where truth usually lives. You recognize that most important questions don't have simple answers. You understand that, "it depends," is often the most honest response. You appreciate the value of conditional thinking, context-dependent judgments, and multifaceted analysis. But this puts you at a massive disadvantage in the competition for influence. Because when you present a complex, nuanced argument, one that carefully considers multiple perspectives, acknowledges limitations, and presents conditional conclusions, you're asking your audience to do cognitive work. You're requiring them to hold multiple ideas in tension, to tolerate ambiguity, to think. The idiot, by contrast, offers simple certainty. The answer is X. We should do Y. They are the problem. No caveats. No nuance. No intellectual effort required from the listener. Guess which message wins? It's not that people are stupid. It's that human cognition evolved for efficiency, not accuracy. Our brains are wired to conserve energy, to prefer cognitive shortcuts, to embrace simple patterns. The person offering simple explanations is working with human nature. You're working against it. This is why demagogues succeed. Why conspiracy theories spread. Why complex policy proposals lose to simple slogans. Why the intelligent person presenting a careful, conditional analysis is dismissed as wishy-washy, while the fool spouting absolute nonsense is praised as decisive. The tyranny of simplicity means that being right in a complex way will lose to being wrong in a simple way, every single time, when the audience gets to vote on who rules. The social intelligence gap. Here's something that might sting: you might be intellectually brilliant but socially mediocre. Intelligence, as we typically measure and conceive it, correlates weakly with social intelligence. The cognitive skills that allow you to excel at abstract reasoning, pattern recognition, and complex problem-solving don't automatically translate to reading social cues, building alliances, or navigating interpersonal dynamics. In fact, high intelligence sometimes correlates with social difficulties. When you're several standard deviations above average in cognitive ability, you're literally experiencing reality differently than most people. Jokes others find hilarious seem simplistic to you. Conversations that engage others bore you. Social rituals that others navigate intuitively feel arbitrary and exhausting. You might be missing social cues not because you're unobservant but because you're overthinking them. While others process social interactions instinctively, you're consciously analyzing them, and that very analysis creates lag time that reads as awkwardness or disconnection. Meanwhile, the person you consider an idiot might possess something you don't: social fluency. They instinctively know how to make others feel comfortable. They read emotional undercurrents without conscious analysis. They build rapport effortlessly. They remember the social details, birthdays, family names, personal preferences, that build loyalty and connection. This social intelligence, this ability to navigate the human landscape with ease, is often more valuable for accumulating power than cognitive intelligence. Because power doesn't exist in abstraction. It exists in relationships. It flows through networks. It's built on alliances, loyalty, and social capital. The idiot rules not despite their lack of intellectual horsepower but because they possess a different kind of intelligence, one that's more directly applicable to the social games through which power is acquired and maintained. They're fluent in the language of human emotion and social dynamics, while you're speaking the language of logic and analysis to an audience that primarily responds to feeling and connection. You've been playing checkers while they've been playing chess. Except it's worse than that. You've been playing chess while they've been playing the actual game, which is poker. And in poker, reading people matters more than calculating probabilities. The comfort of conformity. Let's address a painful reality: most people don't want to be led by someone smarter than them. They want to be led by someone like them, only slightly more successful. When you're genuinely intelligent, you create discomfort. Your insights reveal the limitations of conventional thinking. Your questions challenge comfortable assumptions. Your very presence reminds others of intellectual hierarchies they'd prefer to ignore. The mediocre mind, by contrast, is comforting. They think like everyone else, just slightly louder. They affirm existing beliefs rather than challenging them. They make people feel smart by association rather than stupid by comparison. This is why organizations often select leaders who represent the middle of the bell curve rather than the tail. The brilliant outlier is threatening. They ask uncomfortable questions. They propose changes that require others to think differently. They disrupt the comfortable consensus that allows everyone to feel confident in their existing understanding. The idiot leader, conversely, validates everyone. See, people think. Even I could do that job. There's comfort in mediocre leadership because it suggests that leadership doesn't require exceptional qualities. It democratizes power in a way that makes everyone feel potentially capable of ascending. You, with your genuine intelligence, disrupt that comfortable fiction. You remind people that not everyone is equally capable, that some minds genuinely function at higher levels, that certain problems require exceptional rather than average thinking. And people hate you for it, even if they'd never admit it. The idiots rule because they allow others to feel competent. You make others feel inadequate. Guess who they'd rather follow? The corruption of success metrics. Here's something you need to understand about how the world actually works. The metrics by which we measure success are deeply flawed, and those flaws favor the incompetent. In most organizations and social structures, success is measured by visible outputs, not invisible inputs. By results that can be quantified on spreadsheets, not quality that exists in nuance. By short-term wins, not long-term value creation. This metric system is perfectly designed to elevate incompetent people who excel at manipulating metrics while punishing competent people focused on actual value creation. The smart person thinks long-term. They invest in sustainable solutions. They build foundations. They prioritize quality over quick wins. But these contributions are often invisible on quarterly reports, in performance reviews, in the snapshot assessments by which power is allocated. The idiot, meanwhile, excels at gaming the metrics. They know how to generate impressive-looking numbers, even if those numbers represent no real value. They take credit for natural fluctuations or collective efforts. They front-load benefits and push costs into future periods where someone else will deal with them. And because the people evaluating performance are often not competent enough to distinguish between real value creation and metric manipulation, the idiot gets promoted. They rise to levels where they can do even more damage, leaving wreckage in their wake that the smart people left behind must clean up. You've probably lived this. You've done the difficult, important work that made someone else's flashy project possible. They got the promotion. You got another project. They're now your boss, despite being less competent, because they understood something you didn't. Visible mediocrity beats invisible excellence. The system doesn't reward competence. It rewards the appearance of competence as measured by flawed metrics. Until you accept this, you'll keep playing a game you're designed to lose. Reclaiming your power. So what do you do with this knowledge? How do you respond to a world that seems designed to punish intelligence and reward mediocrity? You have choices, and they're not what you might expect. First option, learn to play the game. This doesn't mean becoming an idiot. It means understanding that technical competence is necessary but not sufficient. You need to add performance to your competence. Learn to communicate simply without being simplistic. Develop your social intelligence. Invest energy in visibility, not just substance. Manage perceptions while maintaining your integrity. This isn't selling out. It's recognizing that being right in private is less valuable than being influential in public. Your brilliant ideas change nothing if nobody with power hears them or understands them when you present them. Second option, change the game. Create environments where competence actually matters. Build organizations, communities, or systems with better metrics for evaluating value. Surround yourself with people smart enough to recognize real quality. Yes, this is harder. But you're smart enough to do hard things. Third option, accept your position and excel within it. Not everyone needs to rule. Maybe you're happiest doing deep work, solving complex problems, creating real value, even if the recognition never matches your contribution. There's dignity in being the smartest person in the room who never needs to prove it. But whatever you choose, stop being frustrated by the idiots who rule. They're winning a different game by different rules. You can be angry about it, or you can be strategic. Your intelligence is still your greatest asset. But unaccompanied by social skill, strategic thinking, or performance ability, it's like having a powerful engine in a car with no wheels. The potential is there. The movement isn't. The world doesn't owe you recognition for being smart. It doesn't owe you power for being competent. These things must be taken, strategically, by understanding the actual rules rather than the rules you wish existed. Smart people rarely rule because they're playing by imaginary rules where merit naturally rises. Idiots consistently rule because they understand the real rules: confidence beats competence, appearance beats ability, simplicity beats sophistication, and social skill beats intellectual skill. Now you know. The question is, what will you do about it?